Canelo has done something that is amazing. When Canelo was able to go to light heavyweight, become light heavyweight champion, something I didn't even see him doing that he did.
Canelo lands good punches. I think Canelo could hurt Crawford. Crawford's, first time in that division and jumping 2 divisions.
Hey, Terence Crawford beats me, my favorite fighter. I mean, the best fighter pound for pound can be Canelo. I mean, a 147-pounder moving up to 68.
Floyd Mayweather explained why Terence Crawford can't beat Canelo Alvarez, emphasizing the huge weight gap. He noted that moving up divisions isn't just about skill but also size, power, and endurance. While Canelo has consistently faced naturally bigger fighters, Crawford is venturing into unfamiliar territory. Mayweather argued that despite Crawford's technical brilliance, the physical difference will ultimately prove too much, making it nearly impossible for him to overcome Canelo's advantages.
Because of the weight disadvantage. I can't go all the way up to 180 or 190 pounds.
Robert Garcia stresses that Terence Crawford's inexperience at super middleweight presents one of the toughest tests of his career. While Crawford has proven his brilliance across several divisions, Garcia warns that moving into Canelo Alvarez's natural weight class is far riskier than any previous jump. He explains that Canelo has spent years sharpening his skills against naturally bigger men, while Crawford has yet to show he can sustain his trademark sharpness, speed, and conditioning at this size. According to Garcia, Crawford's body still seems unadjusted to the added weight, leaving him less explosive and fluid. Against a seasoned champion like Canelo, who dominates at super middleweight, this disadvantage could be decisive.
Jumping 2 divisions where he only had 1 fight at 154 and didn't look his best either. So there's a lot of questions, about that. And that's why a lot of people think Canelo is going to knock out Crawford, but I'm probably one of the only ones that I do give Crawford a chance. Yeah. I think Crawford could pull it off. Crawford is very talented. He's very fast. He's very smart in the ring. So I think a perfect fight, Crawford could pull off a decision.
Okay.
I think he could win a decision. I don't pick him. I wouldn't put my money on him winning because it's a very dangerous, risky fight, especially with Canelo being so strong. But Canelo's last few performances, he's looked slow, flat-footed, looking for 1 punch at a time. And if that's the Canelo that fights Crawford, Crawford could win a decision. Crawford could outbox him, could outsmart him, could land 3-4 punch combinations and move and win a decision. So do I give Crawford a chance? 100% think Crawford could pull it up. Would I put my money on it? Probably not, but I do give him a chance.
Good stuff. Look, Robert, I appreciate you taking time to speak to me. I appreciate you letting me in the gym today. Always a pleasure. And hopefully be catching up sometime soon.
Thanks
Appreciate it.
Thank you very
Cheers.
much.
Showbiz underscores the monumental stakes of the Crawford vs. Canelo clash, stressing that a victory for Terence Crawford would redefine his place in boxing history. If Crawford manages to conquer Canelo's size, strength, and experience at super middleweight, his legacy would rise to unprecedented heights, placing him shoulder to shoulder with Floyd Mayweather in the conversation of all-time greats. Such a triumph would silence any doubts about his resume and solidify him as the pound-for-pound king of his generation. However, Showbiz makes clear that it would not surpass Mayweather's legendary, undefeated career, which remains unrivaled. Instead, Crawford would stand directly behind him historically. The fight, therefore, carries immense significance as a defining moment in modern boxing.
Time undisputed is insane. If he were to beat Canelo, Terence Crawford, at that point, pound for pound, right under Floyd. Right under Floyd. Wherever you got Floyd, I would. Whatever you got him, Terence Crawford's right behind him. Unless you got him first. Okay, how about me? Because I don't have Floyd in my top 10. I have Pacquiao over Floyd. So I know somebody's about to get moves, but I would put Terence Crawford, man, that's old school. That's Henry Armstrong, Sam Langford. Like that's old. That's Joe Gans and Barbados Joe Walcott, Barbados Joe, not Jersey, I'm Barbados. Like, that's old school accomplishments. Man, that's throwback though. I would have to assess that. 3-time undisputed in the 4-belt era, and against who? Yo, that I don't think Pacquiao would have I don't think he achieved anything in a single fight that would be greater than Terence Crawford jumping up 3 weight classes and beating Canelo. I don't think Pacquiao achieved anything in a single fight greater than that. Not in a single fight. Beating Cotto, I still, because Cotto was weight trained. Has Floyd done anything? Well, he beat Canelo.
Jeff Mayweather pushed back strongly against Canelo Alvarez's claim that Terence Crawford is better than Floyd Mayweather. According to Jeff, the statement has less to do with reality and more with Canelo attempting to elevate himself through comparison. Since Canelo lost decisively to Floyd, suggesting Crawford is superior gives him an indirect excuse for that defeat. Jeff acknowledges Crawford's talent but insists he has not yet reached Floyd's level of dominance or accomplishments in the sport. Floyd's undefeated record and his ability to consistently dismantle elite opponents stand as undeniable proof of his greatness, and Jeff believes no fair comparison can be made until Crawford achieves far more.
So I remember, Canelo, that time was a razor-thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. C.J. Ross had it with what a lot of people had as a draw, and then the other 2 judges scored it for Floyd, of course. And that was a Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience. He still took him, into deep water. So.
What was Canelo? 25?
Yeah, he was. So yeah, very very young in the game, obviously.
He had more fights before, and he lost.
Yeah, but
Man, that was 36.
But Floyd was clearly at the top of his career, and Canelo had fought a lot of people. But
you're in your prime. You're in your prime. That's not your prime.
did he lose? I mean, it's different for different people.
Okay. So, and that's why Canelo is saying what he's saying.
Joel Diaz completely dismisses Terence Crawford's chances, emphasizing the massive size disparity between him and Canelo Alvarez. Diaz reminds fans that Canelo has gone toe-to-toe with some of boxing's hardest punchers, including Gennady Golovkin, and absorbed their shots without breaking. He questions how Crawford, who has only fought opponents closer to his natural weight, can realistically cause Canelo serious damage. While acknowledging Crawford's impressive skills, Diaz insists they cannot compensate for the physical gap. He explains that many fighters underestimate the toll of moving up until they feel the power of naturally bigger men, and against Canelo's resilience, Crawford faces an impossible task.
Ask him who his goal is, they don't even know who he is. I don't even know who he is. But they chose him for a reason, right? A guy with a good record. But
he's a champion.
The champion.
He's got the kind of the other stone that's out there that Canelo needs to connect. Again, the fight against Terence Crawford.
It's a fight for Canelo to win. Simple as that. That's what I can tell you.
Then in September, if Canelo wins, he's got Terence Crawford waiting in the wings.
There is no way that Terence Crawford, being to me my favorite fighter, the best fighter pound for pound, can beat Canelo. A 147 pounder moving up to 68, he can only maybe go 2-3 rounds, and then Canelo hits him and he hurts him. Canelo's being hit by Triple G, the hardest hitter in the division, and never hurt him. But Canelo will hit Crawford and he'll hurt him. Let's put it this way. You remember the fight Benavidez and Demetrius Andre?
Yes.
Demetrius Andre was a great fighter. Nobody wanted to fight him at 54. He moved to 60. Fought 1 or 2. Nobody wanted to fight him at 60. So what did he do? He moved up to 68 because there was nothing for him to fight Benavidez, a big fighter like that. Look what he did in the first 30 rounds. Demetrius Andre was in control. He was doing great. But once that weight starts kicking in, it takes over. There is no way that Crawford can beat Canelo. Turkey on the cheek. It's a big fan of Terence Crawford. Who wants to give him a good payday? Simple as that. That's all it is, man.
The debate over ring size adds another layer of intrigue to the Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford showdown. Whether the ring measures 18 or 22 feet, most experts argue the difference won't drastically impact the result. Crawford's supporters suggest a larger ring would favor his movement, giving him space to use angles and footwork to outmaneuver Canelo's relentless pressure. Still, analysts point out that Canelo has proven adaptable, performing effectively in both small and large rings throughout his career. While extra space could offer Crawford a slight edge, it likely won't overcome Canelo's natural size, power, and strength. Ultimately, the fight's outcome will hinge on execution and strategy, not dimensions.
The biggest things in this Canelo Crawford fight we are not talking about is the ring size. If these guys are fighting in the non-traditional 18 by 18 ring, you're gonna want to put your money on Canelo, guys. It is a big difference. Losing out on that extra 4 feet is gonna be an issue for Crawford. It's still possible. Crawford's talented, he's athletic, he has all the potential in the world to pull off a crazy upset here. No matter the ring size, it don't matter. Terence Crawford's that brilliant, he's that excellent. But I'm gonna tell you, man, losing out on that 4 feet is gonna hurt his odds. It's the same thing with 22 feet. Like I said, I don't know what ring they're going with, but if it is in the 22 feet, it's gonna hurt Canelo's odds by a pretty decent margin. Maybe not as much as it's gonna hurt Crawford odds in the 18, but it's still gonna hurt him. You're giving Crawford an extra 4 feet to pivot, maneuver, slip, bob, weave, do whatever he wants. That's gonna give Canelo some issues. I feel like we're not talking about this enough. I heard Turkey said it was gonna be an 18. That was a really long time ago. Like I said, I don't know if they've confirmed what it's gonna be quite yet, but I think it's interesting. Once we get the official announcement, you guys, that's when you place your bets.
Terence Crawford's dominant victory over Errol Spence has fueled confidence among fans regarding his chances against Canelo Alvarez. That fight highlighted Crawford's exceptional timing, adaptability, and ruthless finishing, firmly establishing him as the welterweight king. Yet analysts caution that Spence, despite his talent, is not a naturally bigger man like Canelo. They point to Israel Madrimov as an example of the type of larger, stronger opponents Crawford has yet to face. In contrast, Canelo has consistently battled, and often beaten, fighters even bigger than himself, proving his ability to thrive against size and strength. The concern is whether Crawford's brilliance at welterweight will carry over against a physically dominant super middleweight like Canelo.
The simple real fact is, Terence Crawford never looked that good fighting anybody but Errol Spence. Another real fact is, y'all put too much on Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. Act like he just beat fucking Jesus and Thanos or something. Okay, I get it. Errol Spence was that guy. He beat him. He dominated him. He won that fight. But y'all take that and y'all put so much on that fight, but then y'all look at the Madrimov fight and say, he was a tricky fighter. He's hard for anybody. No one can beat Madrimov. He's the second best fighter in the world because he went 12 rounds with Crawford. Not the case. Y'all put too much on the Errol Spence fight and y'all don't put enough on the Madrimov fight. Then we go back to Canelo. I say Canelo, he don't stop nobody. When last time he knocked nobody? If he can't knock out Berlanga, he's not gonna knock out. If he can't knock out him, he's not gonna knock out Crawford, bruh. Just like Crawford went up to 54 and he couldn't get a knockout, Canelo has went up to 75. He couldn't knock out Bivol. He went up to 68, and those guys are way bigger. He's fighting guys way bigger than him. Crawford couldn't knock out Madrimov because he's his size. Do you think he's gonna knock out Canelo? He's bigger than Canelo. Bro, Canelo got a granite chin. I don't know if y'all know the Canelo. The only people who saying that Crawford's gonna knock Canelo out is people who has to be casuals. They probably have not watched the fight since the Tank last fight, or they probably ain't watched the fight since the Errol Spence versus Blood Crawford fight, because I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all niggas didn't even see that Madrimov fight. Y'all just synced it and y'all running with it. Cut it out.
Gabe Rosado reflects on Canelo Alvarez's loss to Floyd Mayweather, calling it a pivotal moment in the Mexican star's career. At the time, Rosado explains, Canelo was still developing and lacked the experience to compete with a defensive genius like Floyd. While the defeat was humbling, it ultimately became an invaluable lesson that shaped Canelo into the fighter he is today. Since then, Canelo has gained confidence, sharpened his technique, and mastered the ability to adjust to different styles. Rosado believes this evolution has made Canelo far more dangerous, meaning Crawford must contend with a matured, battle-tested version of Alvarez rather than the inexperienced fighter Floyd once beat.
Too soon for for Xander, but who knows, man? I mean, who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you feel like Canelo needed more seasoning when he fought Floyd, or do you think that Floyd just got his number? Period.
I think he was very inexperienced when he fought Floyd. You know, he's a different fighter, but see, everybody's different. That fight is what made Canelo become the fighter that he is today. So, you know, that's why boxing, man, is like when they shame guys for losses, it's like, man, you just got to really see how a fighter bounces back from a loss. It's like, because, you know, when Canelo lost to Floyd, there was a lot of things that Canelo learned in that fight that he added to his game. Next thing you know, Canelo started moving his head, his counters got better in his speed, and he understood timing. He understood how to like break guys down differently because he learned that off Floyd. So I think it was a good learning experience for Canelo, and then, you know, I think that kind of fight is gonna help him in the Crawford fight.
Sebastian Fundora cautions that Terence Crawford may not fully grasp the toll a fight with Canelo Alvarez could take on him. He explains that competing at super middleweight demands more than just short-term physical preparation. It requires years of adaptation, something Canelo has mastered. The Mexican star has consistently faced larger opponents, building his career around surviving and thriving in the division's grind. Crawford, however, is entering this weight class for the first time, which could leave him physically and mentally drained. Fundora warns the aftermath may reveal just how much strain Crawford endured challenging a seasoned champion like Canelo.
We'll see. We'll see what PBC has for us.
Your favorite, Canelo or Crawford?
Canelo.
What do you think is the most significant part of that matchup with Canelo versus Crawford?
That he's comfortable at 168. You know, that he's been fighting there. He went and collected all the belts at that weight class. Crawford, of course, Crawford has a chance. He has a big chance, you know, being one of the pound-for-pound fighters of the world. But it's just the advantage of being there first. You know what to expect in that weight class. Crawford's coming off a 154 fight that he fought last year. So I really don't consider him even a 154. He's been fighting at 147 for a while. He had that one fight at 154, and then he stopped fighting for a year again. So, you know, of course he's probably been training, you know, again, high-class fighter. But to be comfortable at 168, you're gonna have to do some fights in there. And going in there fighting the undisputed champion, it's gonna take a toll.
What about Ennis? He's the new addition to 154. He's had to fight there. Canelo brought him in camp specifically because he's a switch hitter like Terence Crawford. What do you make of Ennis just not being in your division and then him contributing to Canelo's camp, letting into his fight? Is that a good move?
I think it's good for Canelo's camp to have a fighter like Ennis. Because, yeah, he likes to switch right-handed, southpaw. I think Canelo probably didn't need that, but you know, the fact that Ennis went might cause a little bit of drama. I think he did it for a dramatic effect, but you know, great fighter at 147, but 154 is a different division. They have me in there, so we'll see what he can.
Critics frequently debate the entertainment value of Terence Crawford's style compared to Canelo Alvarez's. While Crawford is admired for his technical brilliance, some argue his fights lack the explosive highlights that capture casual fans' attention. Canelo, by contrast, has built his reputation on delivering drama, whether through brutal knockouts, punishing body shots, or high-stakes showdowns. Analysts argue that even if Crawford were to defeat Canelo, it wouldn't automatically make him the face of boxing. To claim that status, he would need to pursue and defeat other formidable opponents like Dimitri Bivol, proving himself against bigger, more dangerous fighters and earning the global spotlight Canelo commands.
The closer you get, the more outlandish these statements were. We had one outlandish one that his fighting style is not entertaining. Right? Canelo's fighting style is more entertaining than Terence Crawford's. I don't know what lens you're looking through, right? Well, why isn't Terence Crawford's fighting style entertaining? So that's one thing. Well, here's the next one. Now, check this out. They're saying that Terence Crawford won't even be great if he were to defeat Canelo Alvarez. He won't be great if he defeats Canelo Alvarez because all the stuff he's done until now, becoming two-division undisputed, beating a lot of undefeated fighters and a lot of fighters with one loss, seems to not be anything. But even beating Canelo Alvarez, the face of boxing, 4-division champion, undisputed super middleweight champion. None of that would matter because they list fighters that he would have to beat to become great. And most of them are fighters that 4-division champion, Canelo Alvarez, that he won't fight. He would have to beat Artur Beterbiev, right? Canelo ain't fighting him. He would have to beat Dimitri Bivol, who Canelo won't fight again, definitely at 168 pounds because he wants to fight him at 175 because he wants to have the excuse that that weight could be too big for him. Dimitri Bivol wants to fight Canelo Alvarez at 168 so he can become 2-division undisputed. Canelo doesn't want that. But Crawford has to beat that guy, right? Crawford has to beat David Benavidez as well, right? We know Canelo doesn't want to fight him, but Crawford has to beat him to become great, right? Remember, Canelo's great already. Then he would have to fight David Morrell.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more boxing updates and analysis coming soon.